Hi, everybody. Danusa here. And somewhere behind me is Evelyn. Let's start that over again. Hey, give me a break. This is the first time I've really done blogs as a blog. This is Danusa, and we are in Angeles, Pampanga, Philippines. Finally, after 3 years. So I'm doing this blog to just kind of help me remember in the future, and if anyone's really interested, what we've been doing here during our visit. And like I said, this could be off the cuff, so I'm not going to edit this. So let's just dig right into it. We left about April 3rd, and we had to leave our house at about 2 a.m. so we could make it to Denver International Airport for the first leg of a marathon flight to the Philippines. We got there okay. Well, I mean, with four very heavy suitcases and two carry-ons and two backpacks, so we were struggling a little bit. I mean, that was the first hurdle, was just getting to the airport. We weren't sure. We were taking some public transportation, so we weren't sure if they would show up or if they would be late. But everything fell into place, so that was good. When we got to the airport, I knew we had repacked pretty recently, so that I wasn't sure that we were actually going to make the weight allowance. So I took all of our bags. Wave hello to the camera, Evelyn. I wasn't sure if our bags were overweight, so I took them to a scale and found out that all of them were slightly overweight. So we had to stuff the carry-ons and our backpacks and just try to get them somewhat near the weight. Um, Alaskan Airlines kind of gave me you were a little bit over. That's not good, but they did let us slide. We lifted off about 7 a.m. in the morning, and wow, we had major turbulence. I mean, the plane was like all over the place. Now, if anybody out there flies and is watching this, actually, the turbulence was considered moderate. In other words, you would have been bounced up a foot or two off the ground if you were not buckled in. If I mean, compared to severe turbulence, where if you're not buckled in, you could hit the ceiling and also get seriously injured, which has happened on other flights. We were also lucky that the weather was good here in the West. If you've been watching the weather in the East in the first part of 2022, it's been rough in the East, especially in the Southeast. They just have been getting storm after storm, tornadoes, hail, heavy snow, everything, and major delays. In fact, Alaskan Airlines had canceled their flight like 2 days before, so we were a little concerned about whether we were actually even going to get out of Denver. The flight was pretty boring. I mean, Airlines is kind of okay as far as service and everything else is. I mean, there was nothing bad to report off when we flew originally. So we got to Seattle, and that's where the trouble started. We had about 2 hour layover in Seattle, so we just kind of walked around. We had lunch. We walked to the terminal, and our primary airline and the one that sold us the ticket is Singapore Airlines. What they didn't tell us was about Canada's regulations, even through I kind of checked their website already, they said I was fine as far as being a U.S. citizen. Evelyn was in trouble because despite her being a permanent resident of the United States, they were insisting that she'd get a transit pass for Canada, which is really kind of strange because we weren't planning to leave the terminal. And in fact, we couldn't even do that because on this particular flight, they were landing in Vancouver. They were going to sit on the ground for an hour. Nobody was allowed off the plane who wasn't going into Vancouver. And then we were going to take off again. But it was like, no, 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 no. You got the regulations. You got to do it. Oh, by the way, they are really strict. I mean, Alaska was the same way. Singapore was the same way. We had to present them like 5 different forms. Oh, I should mention also, in addition to all of this, I had set up an appointment because part of the regulation says you have to get tested before you fly as of the date of this video. Well, my health company said, no problem, just come down, we'll get you tested, you'll get the results. Well, we did that. We showed up early in the morning. We came back in the afternoon and we said, hey, where's our results? They basically laughed at us, not out loud, but they said, what do you mean you get the results now? You might get them in a day or 2 days. Hey, we're leaving in 8 hours. Where's our test results? Nope, you're out of luck. Too bad. Where can we get? And then I said, hey, where can we get? We don't know. That's up to you. I'm really starting to hate my insurance company, at least for this. So, desperate calling about 3 o'clock in the afternoon before we have to leave at, get ready to go at midnight. And, well, I got lucky. There was a place that was literally only a mile away from our place that was doing the testing. Oh, and they told us it was free. Nice. So we get there and they say, and I don't blame them for this, but when they got there, they told us that the testing per person was $375 a person. So, well, we really didn't have a choice. I said, what happened to the free testing? Oh, the state ended that a week ago because they felt that excuse me, that the pandemic was pretty much over, so they didn't need to offer it anymore. So we got stuck. We got to pay it because it was either pay the fee or don't go. Of course, there's also the dramatic, oh my gosh, are we going to test positive or are we going to test negative and we can go? Or are we going to just have cancel our flight plans? Well, nice thing about the allergen test, it only takes about 20 minutes. And, well, they came back negative, which we expected. Anyways, jumping back to Seattle. Anyways, so we've got about 45 minutes before this plane is supposed to take off. So it's like, okay, where's this website? What do you mean we have to fill out this form? They were helpful to a certain extent but they were trying also to get a whole plane full of passengers loaded. So we got it set up. We went through the form. It was like 50 lines long. I mean, it was like we were moving to Canada. And it was stupid. But yeah, this is going to be kind of a rant blog here. But anyways, we get all the way through it, and they say, "Okay, I get the credit card out. They need $7, and they say it's declined." All right, don't know what happened. Guess what? There's no backup. You got to start all over at the start of the form again. Which first we got to find the form. So we did, and another 20 minutes goes past or so, and we get the form filled out, and we're standing right in front of the gate and the check-in counter. We're the only thing holding us up was to be actually checked in or board the plane. And we go, okay, we got it. Here we go. I'm sorry, sir. We closed boarding 2 minutes ago. What do you mean? We've been standing here. You told us we had to get this thing. You told us we could get on the flight. And now you're saying we can't board? And it's just like, oh my gosh. And Evelyn was just having a meltdown. And I was very close to it too. And it was like, grr. And it was like, please, 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 let us on the flight. We're just trying to get home here to our adopted country of the Philippines here. And, uh, you know, well, gate agent called one supervisor, the other supervisor called the other one. And thank goodness, I don't know how they did it, but they did let us board the plane. We even got both seats together. So just by the skin of the teeth, we got on that. That's got to be the closest I've ever missed a flight, and I've been close a few times, but that was, oh my gosh, that gave both of us almost gave both of us heart attacks. Anyways, so we flew to Singapore direct, 16-hour flight. You can guess how that went. It was okay. Singapore Airlines attendants were okay, and the food was okay. I won't say it was stellar, but hey, there was beer and wine available to a certain extent, and plenty of water drinks. So it went okay. Plenty of movies too. We land in Singapore, and now we already know about this that we have about a 16-hour layover. So we already booked a hotel room in the airport because when we were doing the buying of the flights, we figured out it was literally cheaper to buy one expensive hotel room than to get a flight that was a lot shorter by like $1,000 cheaper. So that's what we did. Now it was about $250 American, which is this is only the second hotel I've ever stayed in, and that's high. But I mean, it did have some pluses. It was right at our gate for departure the next morning. The other thing is because we were in a hotel room and not out sitting on in the airport somewhere. We actually got a bed to sleep in, and because Singapore is on the same time as Philippines is, we could adapt to Philippine time, which is a big plus. Also, really nice hotel room. You know, big screen TV with a number of international channels, and it came fully equipped. I mean, every hotel was going to come with soap and towels, but this thing came with toothbrushes, uh, shampoo, hair conditioner. You name it. Even it came with razors, hair dryer. The works. Oh, and also there was meals included. So we got dinner, which was great because we arrived at 10 o'clock at night at Singapore Airport, and by that point everything was basically closed. And breakfast the next morning, and delivered to our door too. And nice hot shower. It was definitely, I have to say, worth it. Now there was one caveat: Singapore is still on a lockdown, so once you get in the room, you can't check out. So, well, you can't leave. But that was a minor thing because all we wanted to do was go to sleep. So, next morning, we got on the plane and we arrived in Manila about mid afternoon. And that's where I'm going to leave it because I see that the timer is already up to 15 minutes and it's time to end this one and come back tomorrow and we'll start the next report. Have a great evening. This is Danusa, and somewhere behind me, hi Evelyn.
Hi.
Bye y'all.
Bye.
To anybody, maybe one person will watch this all the way to the end. Bye bye. Bye everyone. One person. Okay.